on the occasion of its 60th anniversary. Mr. Speaker, in the life of great nations, there are many ideas which become endeavors, which in turn become successful businesses or services. A select few, however, become so successful and transformational in their purpose that they become not only institutions in the sector in which they operate, but institutions of the country itself. They ultimately celebrate a history and the tradition of the host country, of which its people are understandably proud. One only needs to mention the name, and everyone knows what they speak, of what they speak. So we can think, for example, of the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC. Even here in St. Kitts, growing up, everyone longed to get the news from the BBC, and they associate it with its strong British tradition. The New York Times and Washington Post and even CNN all took on a similar exposure and acclaim. It is in that light and admiration that we in St. Kitts and Nevis hold ZIZ, our national broadcasting station. ZIZ is the #1 station in St. Kitts and Nevis, and it is a symbol of our national pride, an emblem of St. Kitts and Nevis. According to the institution's own historical record, when the idea of a radio station in St. Kitts was first discussed in 1955, conditions were promising for a positive outcome. The project became a favorite one for one of our national heroes, Cable Azariah Paul Southwell, who was then the Minister of Communications and Works. And Mr. Southwell devoted a great deal of time and effort in making ZIZ a reality. Commercial broadcasts, however, would not be new to St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm advised that it was as early as in the mid-1930s that St. Kitts and Nevis pioneered domestic commercial broadcasting when the sons of the administrator, Douglas Roy Stewart, and their friend, Kittitian radio enthusiast Kenneth Malalu, applied for permission to conduct experimental commercial broadcasting on the island, and they were issued with the call sign ZIZ. The transmissions were heard mostly by residents in the Basti area. However, when Stewart died, his family left the Caribbean and the radio station went silent. Following the commitment made and building on the work done in the interim, in 1960, Carney Osborne was identified as the future broadcasting and public relations officer, and he was sent to train in Canada and with the BBC in London. The Public Works Department undertook the planning and construction of the new building at Springfield, assisted greatly by what was then the Department of Electricity and Telephones, now SCELEC and Cable and Wireless. On Sunday, the 5th March, 1961, the project became a reality. Punctually at 4 p.m., Administrator Lieutenant Colonel H.A.C. Howard opened the proceedings. The Honorable F.T. Williams then handed the keys to the building to the Chief Minister, Paul Southwell, who delivered the feature address. Following the official launch, ZIZ started transmitting for a 3-hour period between 6 and 9 every evening. Today, ZIZ is broadcasting 24/7 on radio and has a television operating platform and is available on every significantly established social media platform. This speaks to the growth, the creativity and resilience of the station and our people. Its reach and influence are unparalleled within our nation, in that our pride is consummate. The radio broadcasts of ZIZ provide real-time information, and operating a broadcast that is 24 hours a day can provide the most recent updates to listeners. Reaching across the nation, and indeed across borders, it is, as it had become over the years, a valuable source of information when reliable, up-to-date information and news are scarce. This is especially so and important in the wake of human and natural disasters. It encouraged the growth of national popular music stars, and ZIZ brought regional songs to wider audiences. A big success as far back as the 1960s was, I'm advised, the transmission of 3 songs recorded at the Irish Town Primary School. And sometime the Attorney General, who had been involved in music, will well remember these 3 songs and educators. In addition to serving as the lifeblood of emergency communication, it also provides jobs and it plays a day-to-day role in the lives of our communities. There is every reason to support the radio station's continued existence rather than to put them in jeopardy. It has helped to inform, to educate, and to entertain, and to build a healthy national consciousness, to inspire a positive sense of shared national purpose. ZIZ has been instrumental in creating necessary ethical sensibilities when needed in our times of social and/or political discord. These must always be among the purposes of not just ZIZ, but the general broadcasting profession. It can only be achieved with fairness, justice, and an unshakable resolve towards its public function. It was said that when Chief Minister Southwell delivered the feature address at ZIZ's opening, in which he gave a brief history of the project, he explained the government's involvement and acknowledged the contribution of all those involved. He said that radio was considered as a potent and effective force for good or ill, and that governments all over the world found it necessary to control broadcasting in their territories. We believe that he would be justly proud of the growth as a nation, of our growth as a nation and a people, and that now under my team, Unity Administration, for the first time in our history, political parties have equal access to government-owned radio and television. For the first time in history, opposition parties had access to national radio, TV, and the social platforms of ZIZ during the last general elections. I am not going to enumerate all of the activities which ZIZ board has planned in its celebration. Some of them would have started since Monday the 1st March with on-air promotions and messages from some of the former employees. I gather at 8:30 p.m. tonight, Goldwyn O'Kane's ZIZ elocution contest will take place among the primary school. This, of course, will be done virtually in ZIZ studio. Goldwyn Keynes is one of the well-known employees of ZIZ. On Friday the 5th, we will have pre-recorded messages from the chairman, who is Mr. Lester Handley. I see him at the back. I want to commend him and all members of the board of directors of ZIZ. And next to him is Mr. Willett my good friend of long standing and most acclaimed photographer in the Federation, who is also a member. But through them, I extend my commendations to all of them. Saturday 6th, there's a health walk starting at 6 a.m. from the big tree by the cemetery, ending at the Frigate Lawn. And there you will have light refreshments. They want to limit the number of persons with the permission of the NEOC. I'm not sure why, but I guess in the context of COVID-19. So they're going to have a walk. Mr. Willett, I guess, will walk the first 20 meters, and then we'll have Lester taking over, and we do that in appropriate sequence. But we look forward to even the spectators being on the route to give their commendations and appreciation for the 60th anniversary of our national radio station. Finally, on Sunday the 7th, at least for this week, the church service will be at the Antioch Baptist Church, where all is invited. I am advised the service will begin at 9:30 a.m. So again, commendations to all. 60 years represent a long period of service by any entity, and in the context of St. Kitts Nevis, an entity involved in broadcasting. So happy anniversary from this Parliament to the Board of Directors, the management and all the employees of ZIZ Radio. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to make that statement.
Thank you,